You're tuned to Radio Kidnappers, the voice of Hawke's Bay. This is the wonderful world of Wardini Books, and it's our pleasure, as always, to have in the studio Lou from Wardini Books and Havelock. How you going, Lou?
Really well. How are you, Ken?
And you're getting excited because while we're recording this, a big awards night's coming up.
Yes, it is. Yeah. So it's the finals of the New Zealand Book Awards for Children and Young Adults, and the great Wardini, Gareth Ward, my husband, is a finalist in 2 categories. So we're
exciting. Next week, we hope you're going to be reporting that you are a winner.
Yeah, he's a winner anyway. He has actually won loads of stuff. So, but being a finalist is being a winner.
That is exactly. And I guess lots of books in that competition.
There are. There are about 4 per category, I think, and there's picture books and young adult and chapter books for children and illustration awards and Māori language awards and
And like you say, he's a winner already too, right? Now we've got 4 more great books, and the first one is The Cook and the King.
This is the new picture book, brand new picture book from Julia Donaldson. Do you know her?
No.
She wrote The Gruffalo, which is really the massive one. Yep. And Stickman and all sorts. She's very prolific, and she is sort of the queen of rhyming text. And in this one, we have an exceptionally hungry king, and he is recruiting for a cook. He just can't get a cook to feed him enough and to get everything to his liking. So he wants this and he wants that, and I don't want this and I don't want that, and I don't want sausage in jelly. What are you talking about? And so dismisses all these cooks that come for the job until Wobbly Bob turns up.
Wobbly Bob? I know Wobbly Bob.
Do you know Wobbly Bob? And Wobbly Bob is terrified of everything. He's quite a pathetic character, really. And so what happens is the king says, right, you can cook me fish and chips, but first you've got to catch the fish. And Bob goes, oh my God, I'm really terrified of the sea, and I'm terrified there might be a shark. And, okay, well, I'll help you. And the king helps him catch the fish. Now you've got to dig the potatoes. Oh, but there might be ants in the garden. I'm scared of ants, says Wobbly Bob. And it continues in this vein, with the king helping Wobbly Bob with everything. And then they sit down and eat this plate of fish and chips together. And the king's delighted because, of course, he's done all the work and it's entirely to his liking. And so he hires Wobbly Bob.
Yeah, good on him.
You could do with a sequel to see if this romance comes to a bitter end when the king realises what's happened.
The Cook and the King. That sounds great. And what age group are we looking at for that?
So we are probably looking at about 3 and up, probably. Yeah.
I like to say great pictures.
Illustrated, yes. Illustrated by David Roberts, who's done a lot of stuff. He illustrated and I think maybe wrote the Horrid Henry books. Oh, no, they were Francesca Simon, but he illustrated them. But yeah, they are really vibrant. There's lots of movement and colour, and Wobbly Bob's face is a picture. He's just terrified of him.
Not that I would tell anyone, but I would actually sit down and read that book.
You just kind of did tell someone. Oh yeah, well,
but you know what I mean? I mean, they're so good, aren't they?
The picture books are fabulous, and there's a lot more thought and psychology goes into those than some of the grown-up books.
Dead right. Next book we're going to look at is called Into the White.
This is one of the finalists in the Book Awards for the non-fiction. Into the White, Scott's Antarctic Odyssey by Joanna Grochowicz. I think maybe you say that, or it might be Grochowicz. So this is a children's version of the last trip that Scott did. So the opening lines are totally mesmerising, really. I mean, did you read Scott's Diaries?
No.
Or I'm quite into that sort of polar explorer thing, and the fact that they went out. They don't have the technology we do today because it was Victorian times, so they went out with ponies, dogs, and man-hauled sledges for hundreds and hundreds of kilometres. And Scott, the weather that Scott had, he wasn't expecting, which was one of the massive reasons why it ended so badly. And it's just an incredible tale of endurance. You know, we talk about endurance sport and all that kind of thing these days, but they didn't have flipping Macpac fleeces, never mind anything else, you know.
That's right.
So the very first line of this is, if you're into happy endings, you better look elsewhere. This story does not end well. This is a story where men die and their dreams of greatness die with them. But it is a fine story and one that is worth telling, from heroic beginning to tragic end. And for a lot of kids, they go, oh, I don't want to read a book.
Yeah.
That's quite a cool beginning, and it's told very well, simply enough. But also for me, who either have read Scott's Diaries and I've read Cherry Apsley Garrard's Worst Journey in the World, they are of their time, so they're Victorian and they are detailed. That was brilliant. Just brought it all back in such stellar, crystal clear detail.
So it's a book of fiction based on fact?
No, it is just fact. Or is it really? It's the whole story, and I think she must have taken from the diaries and things like that, and just put so some of the dialogue I suppose she has played with to make it palatable to modern kids. But it's fact. Everything that happens in there is fact.
Is it a 10?
There's nothing else like it really. So yeah, let's give it a 10.
Why not?
Why not?
You're listening to Radio Kidnappers, the voice of Hawke's Bay. This is the wonderful world of Wardini books. Now, if you want to buy a good book, you've got 2 stores.
We do. We're in Havelock Nook, and Napier.
Indeed. You've got a Facebook page, you've got a web page, you've got a whole bunch of pages, you've got everything.
There's an Instagram.
As well.
That's cool.
Our next book is called Leaf Supply, and we were talking about before we came to air. A certain type of leaf.
Yes, not your kind of leaf,
not my
Ken.
Kind.
Maybe I missed a bit, but so this is a guide to keeping happy houseplants. We're not talking about your hydroponic system in your garage there. So this is Lauren Camilleri and Sophia Kaplan, and they are very glamorous ladies who do a lot of things with plant design. So as you flick through this book, if you wanted to know anything about plants, and it's all green plants too. Some of them will flower, but really healthy, gorgeous house plants, and how to arrange them in your home and how to look after them. I've got a current obsession with building up my houseplants, and so I really wanted this book, and it's exceeded my expectations, because it's quite nice to know how not to kill them. Yeah,
and also it's look at it, it's got a theme about it. It's got a green spine on it, so when you look at it, it's green on the top, it's green on the front, it's green everywhere.
The production of the book is beautiful, isn't it?
And it reminds me of a book out of the 60s or the 70s.
It's got that feel to it. I know
a retro look.
And some of the furniture design that's sort of set dressing for the plants is kind of retro, isn't it? With that, what is it, that 70s modern look.
But they've even got a fondue on the table.
Yeah. And it does sort of talk about designers and people that do a lot with plants, and then goes on to sort of an alphabet of plants that you can have and what to do with them.
Great coffee table book as well.
It is, yeah. I mean, it's sort of, if you have your friends around and that's lying around, they won't talk to you. They'll just look at that.
And our last book is a tippy-toppy one.
Yes.
It's called Dear Donald Trump.
By Sophie Sears, illustrated by Anne Villeneuve. Sophie's local author. She's done the Alice the Little Tractor books, and she's got a book in the Book Awards, The Gift Horse, which is a beautiful book dealing with grief. But this is Dear Donald Trump, and it is a pure little gentle satire. So it's a picture book. You could read it to children of about 4 and up, I would say. I think it's really interesting in this day and age that young people have never been so engaged in politics. And it really is because of Donald Trump. And then we've had Jacinda Ardern and her rise to international fame. And kids, they know these people now. They can tell you their names, and it's very interesting. So
well, my granddaughter came home from school. She's 8. She said, "We don't like Donald Trump, Granddad."
Oh.
I said, "Don't we?" I said, "Some of us do." Anyway, carry on.
Oh, we'll leave that hanging in the air. Okay, so this is a book, picture book ostensibly for children, but a lot of grown-ups are buying it just because it's funny. So this is Sam, and he shares a bedroom with his brother, and his brother is extremely annoying, and he does things like steals his Star Wars destroyer and mucks about with his phone at night and makes the room glow and is noisy and just, modern stuff. Yeah. And Sam is seriously considering building a wall across his bedroom.
I love it.
And so he's heard that Mr. Trump is considering a wall too, and Sam decides that he's going to write to Donald Trump and just, maybe trade some ideas and just let him know the progress. And then in this series of letters, what you've got is a picture of a family, a normal family, and mum and dad going, "Oh, that's interesting, but no," and then starting to negotiate with the kids. And at one point, Sam goes to stay with his gran and has to sleep in a room on his own, and he doesn't like it as much as he thought he was going to. There's just some really nice recurring jokes in there. And then when mum and dad have obviously spoken to the brother while Sam's been away, let me try and find that page for you, because that's quite cool. There's obviously, Dear Donald Trump, there's obviously been some dialogue while I was away. My brother is using words like harmony and spirit of sharing and suggesting that a wall is not needed. I, however, remain unconvinced. So there is a lot of sort of cool vocabulary in there that kids may or may not have heard. So it's an allegory for negotiating between siblings and friends, but it's also just a really cool book.
It would be great to give some pro or con Donald Trump, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
one way or the other.
I mean, it's definitely taking the mickey. But and the illustrations are fabulous because you've got these lovely, bright, vibrant ones, and then you've got these sort of sepia-toned vignettes of Mr. Trump, but his face is always behind his cell phone, or presumably he's tweeting.
That's right.
Or the golf cart is obscuring him, and there's just this tuft of mad hair. So yeah, she's come up trumps with that.
See what I did there? You can't win a trick. Good on you, Lou. As always, our pleasure. And if you want to get any of these fabulous books, or indeed you can get any book for us, I suppose, we get hold of you at your store in Havelock North, or we go and see your dear husband in his store in Napier. Yeah,
he's there sometimes, but it's Nigel, Adele and Phoebe that are working there.
So he's got the good job.
Working really hard over there. He's writing.
Good on you, Lou. As always, our pleasure. You look after yourself. We'll talk to the same time, same place next time.
Cool. Thanks, Kim.